Proposed Mid-States corridor would connect I-64 and I-69, running roughly along the route of State Road 231 through Davies, Martin, and Du Bois counties. Early next year, the Federal Highway Administration will review the environmental impact study and public comments to decide how to continue. Benta Boutier reports.
The need for a corridor has been examined for more than a decade, and previous studies had been done evaluating options. But the most recent study looks like it has momentum behind it, and has Lagodi resident Tina McCullough worried about how it will impact her way of life. She grew up on her family's farm and raised her own children there. She likes the quiet country life they've lived and doesn't think a corridor is needed.
There's nowhere to put more land. And the houses that are taken out, there's not enough housing as there is in this area. And we don't want to live in a city. We want to live in a real community. That's why we've been here all of our lives.
The corridor has multiple years of evaluation before construction could start because of EPA study requirements for major projects.
We used to do it all.
McCullough says her family is in limbo, discouraged from developing the land for another house or business expansion because the corridor could come through.
You can't buy ground here. You can't buy land, Davis County, Martin County, because it's just a premium. People love what they do and where they live.
And getting into Jasper, the corridor is suggested to go by the east side. Alan Hanselman runs the Schnitzelbank restaurant on that side of town, and his family lives out where the corridor could pass through. He says there is need for a corridor and better connectivity in the area.
There's no doubt about it. If you come from Indianapolis, and you'll find out why. It's not easy to tell somebody how to get here. So, but that's why I'm not really against it. Like I said, I'm just against where they're putting it because they're getting too close to this small town feel.
The preferred route could cut through land his family lives on. It's projected to displace roughly 150 homes. On the west side is Jasper Engines. CEO Doug Bobble says with the number of people who commute in every day, the corridor is necessary. He recalls other infrastructure projects that were unpopular in the past. 231 goes right by his plant and cut through his property when it was built. He says it was the best thing for the community, and it will likely be much the same for the corridor.
I realize it takes land. In Jasper, when they expanded 231 south of Jasper, it split up our property that our plant's located on. But it was safety and it was progress.
Bobble doesn't discount the corridor will hurt people's livelihoods and says that should be taken seriously, but he sees it as a long-term investment.
If you're not growing, you're dying. And if we don't try to improve the infrastructure in southern Indiana, we're just going to be left by the wayside.
Studies for the corridor project are enabled by a partnership through INDOT and the Mid-States Corridor RDA. It's a funding method created by 2017 legislation so local governments can create funds for transit projects and receive contributions from private stakeholders while partnering with INDOT for management. Mark Schroeder says the RDA doesn't control what route gets selected and is only there to advocate for connectivity in the region and be a fiscal agent. He says it's INDOT's responsibility to manage the project's logistics. The Tier 1 impact study done was contracted to the Lockmuller Group for more than $6 million.
I think the citizens who are here will immediately benefit from that connectivity in terms of their ability to travel for employment and travel for entertainment and travel for other things. That improved travel time does matter.
Mid-States RDA committed $7 million total for the Tier 1 study. Schroeder says about 50% of that came from local government and the other half from private industry. INDOT added the corridor project to the State Transportation Improvement Plan, which enables federal fund contribution later on. But McCullough sees all this as an unnecessary hardship for her family that will hurt the area. She hopes the plan for the corridor doesn't go through.
Our entire family is just in turmoil, as is everyone that's affected by this. No one can rest because we don't know what's going to happen with our homes and our land.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Benta Boutier.
The route was identified as the lowest in environmental impact and cheapest to build, according to the draft environmental impact statement.